Sorry, good people, a little technical difficulties, but we back. We gonna get the good brother Lorenzo back on here. There we go. Jabari, Jersey's finest.
You up?
I'm up. You good?
I'm good.
There we go.
My bad, man.
Nah, you cool. You cool, man. You
I was
cool.
trying to suck it out, and I'm like, I can't hear it.
That's why I'm like, yo, you sure? You try to hit me with the, I'm gonna read your lips. I'm like, yeah.
I was going to give it a shot.
Nah, it's cool, man. Let's give them a second to jump back on, man. Cause they would look. But all I say, like, I see the comments, y'all. Keep giving us any questions y'all got. We're gonna try to get to them for sure. But we definitely appreciate you sharing this info with us, though, man. You definitely doing your thing, man. And tell your wife we appreciate her helping.
I know, right? I be putting it through a lot, man. That's my love right there. Thank you.
It's a beautiful thing to have a partner, right?
Yes, sir.
So long as you say it's okay, she says we gotta. I want to talk about that. How that work-life balance. How do you deal with that?
And I think that's one thing where I kind of every time I talk to you, I'm like, I'm about to slow down because um, it's not easy. You know, I've been blessed though because my wife is really smart. So she gets these calls where I'm like, hey, I need you to come up with this flyer. I've even sent her, she's been showing up this house. I need you to go to this girl house and see what's going on. I need you to ride by. And she does real good private investigation skills. So she probably got me about 3 houses. I'm like, hey, can you find this person? She's like, all right, cool. You know, next thing I know, I got a number in the email and we closing in a couple of weeks. So
I
that,
think that's the female intuition and stuff. They know how to do that secret spy stuff for sure.
yes, I think so.
So, but real quick, we'll touch on that because you got a few kids. You're a dad. You're a husband, entrepreneur, black man in Philadelphia, making it happen. So, how does that look for you? Just you flipping 4 houses at a time. You looking at
Right.
deals. You dealing with contractors, but then you need time for yourself. But then you also need time for wifey and the kids. So
I think that, see, real estate is a part of our family now. So
okay,
I think that was the easiest way to really integrate everybody inside. So with the
okay.
kids, they know during the open houses, they're handing out flyers and they're fighting over who can hand out the flyers and can I hand out the candy? And they want to give tours and turn the lights on. And that's a part of theirs and of their upbringing. And if they do,
Ooh,
we're giving out, Roblox. And if that's so, especially with the kids, so they're walking in just this weekend. They're walking in, giving me ideas on what to do with the house. So I make
okay.
sure that everybody's knows what's going on. Everybody's involved, and I think
That's
that's key.
That's dope. So now it's kind of a look, daddy's not just working, but that this is what daddy does. We understand it on top of now they're getting the gems that you got, if not more, because of the volume that you do. So it's second nature. They riding around like, yeah, that's our house, or we gonna get that house right there.
Yeah, exactly. They going on listens appointments, and they know what to say. They know at the end of it, say, "Are you going to sell this house to my daddy?" So we
My
train.
daddy needs this house. I
My
see what
daddy
you're doing.
needs this house, you know.
I know. I see what you're doing. Look, I'm about to have the kids in both arms. Like,
I'm like, I'm sorry, man. My wife was working. I'm just a dad trying to, do this, and it
provide
worked.
for my family. That's why I can't give you 100 grand for it, but I can give you this 50 ball.
Right.
No, man, that's what's up. Somebody was asking in regards to property management. Do
Okay.
you outsource your property management, or how do you set your own property management up?
Well, one of the big things, I have a system. So I took my system from my 9 to 5, and I pretty much implemented it with myself. And I use a lot of virtual assistants, pretty much.
So virtual assistants, what's that?
Virtual assistants are My virtual assistants are in the Philippines, so they're not really from Philadelphia or
Okay.
the United States, but they take on tasks and they work full time. Uh,
Okay.
so if you call, and this one thing I had to let go was that personal touch. So if you call our office, you'll never reach me.
But
Uh,
that's dope though, because you can't call the Trump Towers and speak to Trump, or you can't call the people at Hilton and talk to the owner. It's people and systems in place, so now you can do what brings the money in.
that's right. So the tenants, they build a relationship with the virtual assistants. Uh,
Okay.
and they also do that. That's another thing that took the property management business off. So my virtual assistants pretty much run that business by themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and I just sort of jump in when I have to. And with,
Gotcha.
yeah, but right now we can't take on any new clients because of the COVID. It's hard to enforce a lease when you can't take them to court or charge late fees. But but that's that's fine.
Story for another day. We got to use that for landlord one-on-one class. We can't use that for this one. Somebody might be
I
recording
don't
us.
hear nobody right now.
Talk about how we let the pit bull in the house from the back door, you know, around dinner time. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. But
Okay.
what we could talk. You want to talk about the pit bull? Or?
I'm ready for anything.
Oh, we're not going to talk about the pit bull. It's all right, man.
Oh.
But one of the let me make sure I got it. Where is it? The management. Right. So, at what point did you realize it was time for you to quit the gig?
With my 9 to 5, it was a couple of things that happened. I was working hard to actually get promoted. I got promoted, and they offered me $1,500 raise.
Like yearly? That's it? Just $1,500? Just
I was an hourly employee. They offered me $1,500, so it was actually a price. It was almost a demotion. The financial, I wasn't making as much, and I knew at that point, that very moment, I was done with this.
yeah. Somebody said they gave you the PUA before the PUA.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, $1,500. I'm like, that's no, and I lasted a year right after that.
Okay. So you gave yourself time, but at this point, you got properties, you could sustain your household, and now it's just a matter of growth.
It was a combination of both, and I wanted to my magic number was 20. So I'm like, if I can get to 20 doors, I can quit my job and I can live
Comfortably.
Yes, I could be okay without struggling every month.
My fault. Go ahead.
Without struggling every month, and that was my key. I wanted to get to 20, and once I got to 20, I got the letter that my refi was approved. My 2 weeks was in. Right after that.
Look, as soon as that email came through, I'm about to send this email right away.
Yeah, I was like, all right, thank you. I said, but I don't think anybody at my job was surprised because I was giving everybody a heads up what was happening.
That it was in the works anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good to see, but that talks about your character and your transparency. It's like, look, even though y'all did me wrong, I'm gonna still be a stand-up guy and let y'all know.
Oh, they didn't think they did me. They thought they were doing me a favor.
Well, I'm saying from their standpoint, though, like even though I know you felt they did you wrong,
okay.
I'm saying, you still was honorable to like, look, I'm gonna let y'all know, like, I'm just like, even though y'all try to do me dirty, I ain't gonna do y'all dirty.
Right. That's right. Yeah, because you don't want to burn bridges because who knows? We got the contract, the business. We might go back, and do something else with them one day. So.
Right. Which is dope. So going from that to now being self-employed, I mean, so like, what's next on the horizon for you? So like, where do you see you taking the business?
I see us doing I would love to focus on group economics. So not to get too deep, I don't know if you was on the call when it was maybe.
I was on the call.
You was on the call?
I was on the call.
$1 billion on this call. And everybody was saying the same thing. Like if we put our funds together, we could really grow and take over the city. And no one really volunteered and raised their hand to do the work. So I think if you go ahead.
No. I was going to say how. So it's two things. I think so I'll just say for me is one, I think trying to mesh all the minds together.
Yeah.
So you were going to say egos. So egos, minds, and then how do we build that trust amongst each other? Because it's like, all right, I got $1,000 I'm willing to lose.
Right.
But now you tell me, yo, you need to put up 10, 15, 20 bands.
That's right.
And then I see this mofo over here, they taking trips, and we over here doing work.
Right. That's where that's where every call stops. And I know you've been on a few of them. It's like, well, how can we get everybody together? So I think if we can come together to do something, I would love to have a nice big project. It may not be in Philly, maybe in Darby, but there's no reason why we can't have our own shopping centers or just, our, stuff like that. So that's sort of what we'll like to work on with in the next couple months.
So I know about 3 dudes, maybe 4 that I trust.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, trust them with my life, trust them with my family, trust them with money kind of thing. So it's like maybe we need to have, I think that's the other part, having the smaller groups and
Right.
then break out into big groups. Because I feel like in a smaller group, we can at least say what the focal point is
Right.
and then allow people to either want to be in it or don't want to be in it kind of thing.
Right. And I do think because if you look at all the investors that we have in Philly, it's almost a bill. It might have been $1 billion on that call. There's no reason why we should be losing some of these bids and watching these warehouses turn into this when we can all come together and just take it over the whole city.
Mm.
So I think, and then you see certain people tried it. Jay Morrison.
Can't say his name. We can't use his name on this live.
All
Yeah.
right.
We got. I'm just messing with you. I'm just saying he's still whatchamacallit. So in theory, his thought process was good, but like his name is like it's floating out there. It's not looking too good right now.
Right, and that's some of the stuff that we got to work against because everybody trusted him to be able to pull it off, and they gave out hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now we hear that. But we gotta somehow bring the integrity back and really execute it the right way, and then that's what's going to really change. That's what's going to change everything when it's done correctly, the right way.
Mm. So, are you even take away the partnership part or the group economics for you? Would you be willing to take on investors from the group economic standpoint? So, like, say it's 10 people on this call. They love what you're doing. They hear what you're doing, and they want to invest with you. Would you be willing to do something of that along those lines?
I don't have that. I'm more of I don't have a mentor program. If you call me and say I have,
well, no, it's not mentor. It's not mentor. They invest in you, so you almost be raising your own capital within your community.
I have not. I have considered that, but I also have a hard money bank, so I sort of have that already in a way, because my bank they don't mind giving you millions of dollars, so I kind of already have the money to do what we need to do. Honestly, so I would say no.
I don't know. I'm gonna give you some pushback on that, though, just from the standpoint of like we just was talking about group economics. So I feel like I'm just saying, just say you get in exchange, you get a couple houses in that same neighborhood, but the people get an opportunity to invest with you. So now, like you said, like the hard money people, that money and profit they make, they don't bring that back to the community.
They don't.
That go to right. So now, just say if you brought these people in, and now you get to leverage their money with the hard money, but now that money is circling back to the people in the community.
Right. I never thought about that.
We just collaborated real quick.
Right, because I always think when people come to you, they're like, all right, let me give you 5,000, let me give you 10,000, and I don't think that doesn't do it for me, you know, because when you can do these deals, some of these deals on your own individually, like somebody say, all right, let me give 100 and we'll buy 10 houses or something like that. Now that I can do, and maybe if 10 put together 10, then yes, we can do something like that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So from that standpoint, and again, like I understand where you're coming from. So like my issue with that is now I got to push back on the people. I talk to people, they like, yo, I gave you 10, I need 15 back.
Right.
We not selling coke. This is real estate. Like I'm lucky, like you said, you just want to make 30 grand off a flip. And that's if don't nothing go wrong. So now you telling me for year 10, I need to give you year 10 plus another 15. What am I getting? And you ain't do no work.
And I think with that situation, you got to educate everyone first on what the returns are. So you will really have to educate everybody on what their expectations are, different timelines, and then be able to actually, you know, return it, execute that plan. So, and that's another reason why I say, like, they give you 10, they want 15 back, and that's just not going to really help. Well, I'm going to give you 20, give me 25, like, or 30. And it's like, you know what?
No, but for your 20, realistically, if I give you $5,000 back and I give it to you in 6 to 8 months, like you didn't get that in the bank, you got a good situation.
That's a great situation.
Look, you said great. I was, look, tell them again.
No, because if you give me 20 and if you give it for a year, you could probably actually get 25, not 30, but you can get a nice refund back in about, a year. But they want it back immediately. So they want it back as soon as the crib is flipped, let me get my money back, and then that takes out of your profit, and then it's just a
Now
lot
we back to square one.
back to square one. So that's sort of what I'm working on now, trying to figure all that out. But yeah, I haven't executed the private money play because I have the hard money lenders. They gave me the green light, like a golden ticket, like just go and buy what you want and we'll support you, you know.
Look, somebody said they need their return in 90 days.
90 days, exactly. I want money right now.
This
And
not the lotto. This not the lotto. This is hard work. So, but talk about that. How long is it taking you to rehab these houses?
before the lipsticks, I could do in 30 days.
You
But
can buy it, get it rehab 30 days, and get your tenants in there in another week or two.
another week or two. And one thing I always put in, and this is another sort of key, I don't let the tenant move in until the home is appraised.
Why is that? So that was new for me. Why is that?
Because the appraisal value will drop after your tenant moves in. To me, if you get an appraiser that's not familiar with our culture, and you might have a nice nurse, but she could be in there smoking weed, you know, doing whatever she does, and right after that, the value of the house is dropping. They're not looking at the house; they're looking at the tenant, and they're looking at their cat and their dog and a few other things. So always get the lease. Look, you move in 3 weeks. Make sure the appraisal comes in right, nice and clean. Is at its highest, most valuable point when the appraiser comes in, and I'm good.
So, but the lease is in place though. He or she just gotta wait till
It's
the
got
appraisal is done.
right. They already signed the lease, so yeah, they're already good.
And give you a security deposit at least.
And give you 1 month security deposit. I don't need the whole
Okay.
thing. Just sign the lease, give me 1 month, because sometimes you may even send over proof of the payment of the security deposit to the bank. So when they walk in and it's vacant, they're not like, "What's going on?" And
Right.
banks don't have a seasoning period too.
Okay. So that's how you're able to not crash and burn them, but turn them over super quick.
Right, because some banks want you to have 6 month seasoning period, and others, like PFCU, Freedom, there's a few others, they don't really mind. So
Freedom Credit Union, you talking about?
yeah,
Philly Federal Credit Union?
and Philly, yes,
American Heritage?
I don't know about American Heritage,
Okay.
but those. So
Eagle One?
Eagle One too, right?
Okay. I don't know if I hope y'all taking these notes that he giving y'all. Because them last two right there was real game changers.
Yeah, because if you got $100,000 house and you have a tenant move in, like I always say, they might be frying chicken. It could be whatever. And if you have a certain appraiser, they are going to devalue your property based off the tenant.
So the crazy thing is, the house I have on the market now at 50th and Ludlow, I had tenants in there. I swore the house was a home run. It appraised for 15 grand less. So I ended up leaving money in the house just to get the refi done. I had to pay for 2 appraisals because each appraisal was shitty. The second one came out somewhat better. So I ended up getting it rented just to get it rented per se.
Right.
And then now, luckily, the market has officially turned over. Like, we knew the location was good because we're from here, but they're not from here. So they wouldn't count the good comps. They gave me all the comps for the other side of Market Street at the time, not the Chestnuts and the other ones.
Right.
Because, like you said, you know, how they feel or not being from the neighborhood. So we, so appraiser opinion.
Right. And they're not basing it off the house. They can't put in there that they didn't like the tenant or they thought but whatever. So I just take that completely out the equation. So you're going to base my house, the value off of my house, off of my house.
Okay.
And I always meet the appraiser there. I don't get suited up a lot, but if you see me suited up, you best believe
it's money day. It's money day.
Oh yeah. I don't want you to think I'm whatever. So I'm showing up nice and dressed up, and we're ready to do business. I need that.
I gotta work on that. So I think I'll say that's part of my ego flaw. Like because of that mindset, like you said, on how they perceive us. So I'll be like, yo, I show up at this my crib and I wear my sweats and stuff because I'm like, yo, I bust my ass. This my crib. I'm not gonna get dressed just for you. This ain't Sunday church.
I'm getting dressed for you. Yes, I'm getting crazy. I'm here, and I'm bringing up that crazy stuff. Bringing donuts. You don't want any donuts? Well, they're here for you. So because the appraiser can make or break your refi. If you get a low
No, I
appraiser,
agree.
yeah,
I agree. But
yeah,
not, but like I said, I know like I've had that happen on multiple occasions on the flips, on my rehabs, I mean, on the rentals, because of that. That was honestly why I stopped doing the burst strategy, because I'm like, this shit ain't what it seemed to be, how everybody keep making it out.
right,
And I'm like, and plus all the red tape of going through the bank, I'm like, I'm good. I just flipped the crib. So like, luckily that crib I'm talking about now, at the time I paid $130 for it. I put it on the market now for $220. I
okay,
had it rented for 4 years, straight rent from somebody from New York.
okay.
They just moved out and bought one of them Osage houses.
Rodney Ross.
Yeah, he doing his thing, doing his thing. You know, so they buying one of those. So they bought one of those. So I tried to sell it to them. They was like, no, we don't want it. I said, cool.
Right, and
You
Will
know,
right,
so
Will is right. I'll be suspended up and everything. Yes, sir. Might have a good.
yep, yep. You be giving it to him. You be giving it to him. But so I wanted to talk about this earlier. You talk about setting yourself up, being in position. So credit, the LLC, setting up the systems. So can we just backtrack on how your sacrifice? Because I don't know if people know, but I know. Like, you have a truck, but it's paid for, and you've had this as long as I've known you. At the
Right,
crazy, you could go out here and get you a big ass Denali or something crazy if you wanted to, but
right. I think that one thing that you have to work on yourself. So I did a lot of research when it comes to entrepreneurs and some of the downfalls. One of the first thing I wanted to do was how to handle stress. So that's when I stopped drinking for a long time. Like, I'm not going to drink. Um, One of the biggest things was also Eric Thomas. I would listen to Eric Thomas nonstop. So you get your motivation going. You had to cut a couple circles as well. So even though I'm a sports fan, it doesn't make any sense for me to watch football 8 hours a day. Uh, Really, even three. So I cut that out of my life. I cut fantasy sports. I cut almost everything out. So I made a lot of sacrifices, you're saying. I was working like 14, 16 hours every single day. Like, I would get up, if I was working on a project, be at the project at 5 or 6, take a shower at work because it was an apartment complex. So I
mm-hmm.
would be walking in dusty, but I would go take a shower at work, leave work nice, and then go back to the property, and then go to whatever real estate meetup it was, get there like 7:30, and try to network and get home at 10 o'clock. So
Okay.
that was, and I did that for years. And I always say you gotta make those sacrifices. Some people can't. I don't want to say like, and I always talk to my brothers when I get into a certain room, like, you can't smoke, you can't play Madden, you can't do certain things if you want these results. And it seems like you're, downing them out. And I'm like, I'm not really trying to down you out, but those
Mm.
two things, they don't mix together. It just doesn't. So um,
Right.
you can't go,
You can't get the new level still doing all the old things
you
that
can't.
you was doing. So I mean, like you said, not that you're downing them out or telling them what they're doing is wrong per se, but it's like, what are you willing to cut out or sacrifice to
Right.
get you to the goal that you said you wanted to obtain?
Right. And that's then you gotta ask yourself that. So right now when you ask me what am I trying to do, I cannot work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for a long period of time anymore. Um, I'm not well, I can't. I'm not really willing to do that right now. I got
Mm-hmm.
two young kids and I really want to see them grow up.
Right.
So I'm here by like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Some days I work longer, but uh, the family is important, and that's why I can't sacrifice certain things at least for the next couple of years. But
Understandable.
I think that's important is and networking too, being honest and integrity. Like, this is a game full of sharks.
It's one of the most corrupt legal businesses that you could get into.
Yeah, and I don't even talk about like wholesaling. That's a different. It's a lot of different things involved in this game. And when you're honest, you keep your integrity. Like, nobody could ever say you did or I did anything to them. It's like, no, we. And then when you want to fix up your community, you got to stand by it. You can't be the guy in the face of, uh, let's say, like renovating homes and just not fighting gentrification in a way, and then turn it over. Then to do something else. So
He's slumming it, right?
right. So I think that's key though too. It's a lot that goes into it.
I think I forgot my train of thought because you said it. You was talking about the houses, the homies. Oh, can we talk about that? So, how do you feel about not gentrification in a sense, but like I struggle even now with like I live in the community I invest in, right? However, I feel like I need more personally, like for self and family. In
I'm sorry.
regards to
When you
say
say
it
need,
again.
when you say need more,
So, or I'll just be transparent. So, like, I want to stay in my community. However, I feel like living in the community at times is not conducive to the growth.
I agree. I do agree. I personally don't live in a community right now. I
Okay.
live in a community, but I don't live in Southwest or West anymore.
Okay.
And I think as far as gentrification is going to happen, we can do a lot to fight it, but it's all going to be based off of our economic power. So if we don't, most people, if you say this house on, I don't know, Arlington is going to go for 215, they don't want to pay 215 for it. So there is a certain demographic that's going to move and pay for that. So even myself, I started to change my product to be geared towards the end buyer, which may not look like us.
Right. But I will say, even with that end buyer, I feel like we're starting to accept the change and spend our money to be in our community with the change. Like my last flip at 50th and Whitby, everybody told me I was tripping. I never get the money I was trying to get for it. And honestly, I didn't think it. I was shooting my shot, but I got it, and I'm selling it to somebody that's from the neighborhood.
Okay.
She loved it just because she was from the neighborhood. Everybody else is like, no, it's 58th and Whitby. Not to mention the house appraised for 15 grand more than what I sold it to her for. So I'm a little tight about that. But still, I feel like, I did my part, in regards to renovating this vacant property, and now she got a great product.
Right. Now, I might as well give you kudos because I don't think some of the other, guests, they may not, but you did a great job with the house, and you had a lot
Thank
to
you.
do with my growth as well. And I don't know if you know that, on a lot of different levels. One, you helped me out with some of the hard money lenders. Some of the banks I mentioned you gave me as well.
Okay.
And not to count on your round table, we busted up. I replay it. I'm like, oh, how many times we talk about the LeVars, the Darrens, and
and the strategies, right.
different strategies. And I got different guys. I'm like, can you get such and such on? Because I want to see what he say. And I think you really help for the people that's paying attention. But you got to pay attention. You're giving them the education. You're giving them. You've been doing this for years too. I'm talking about the home buyer seminars. So you're doing your part, and you're really putting information out there. And that's not even counting you putting everybody in their homes.
Right.
Transactions going well. Make sure the inspections are going well. So you deserve a lot of credit, and you're one of the key players in the city. So I think
I definitely appreciate that, though, for real. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, like I still replay. The LeVar one was beautiful.
Right.
For me, I still replay it. I'm like, okay, all right, I got it. I got the game plan. That's all I need. And then you mix that with some of the other guests that you have, and you have a full game plan. If anybody takes 10 hours to replay all of them, that's powerful. So all you have to do is implement it. And a lot of us are saying similar things. So I think that's another thing. You deserve a lot of credit. Not counting, I don't know if you pitched the book, but if you don't have a house.
Well, so at the end, we do that at the end. So we'll talk about, we definitely will talk about that at the end.
Right. So you deserve a lot, man.
Nah, well, I appreciate it, but I tell people like, yo, why do you do these things? So like, talking to you, the Maliks, the Maurices, the LeVars, the Aishas, the Keishas, that also motivates me. So like, honestly, look, Coach Carter just jumped on the big homie. So like,
what's up, big homie? He in there?
Yeah, he in here. So, so I definitely like talking to you guys and just hearing how y'all get it. It like keeps me motivated because, I be in the trenches struggling sometimes.
Right.
Wifey be like, yo, you got to get yourself together. Like, I'll be like, look, I'm trying, babe. Just give me a minute.
Give me a year or so. I got it.
Right. Look, man, you ain't going to work ever again. And then even with the ET, so like I listen to the ET several times a day. You see me running around the way. I'm running ET. You know, now some of the Tony the Closer, you name it. I'm or my man Daniel
BYL, we gotta check
Goggins.
them out too.
Oh yeah, Earn Your Leisure. Look, Earn Your Leisure. Look, them dudes gonna be on here soon. Somebody got to connect me with them. We gonna get
Right.
them. But all that stuff, like it's in my daily repertoire. Like I'm constantly just feeding my brain and feeding that, because like you said, not to mention just all the thoughts that run through your mind all day and trying to keep them positive and pushing.
Right. So, like I said, yeah, that helps, and that's also your circle. Like, who else is gonna call you? Like, yo, you gotta listen to this new podcast. And I'm like, what? Like EYL. And I'm like, okay, I got 100 hours now of new content to listen to.
Right.
Stuff like that. It really helps.
Right, but that goes to even your immediate circle. How, like you said, like, yo, I could call Malik and I could talk about stocks. I could talk about some of the properties in certain neighborhoods. I can call you and talk about my rehab issues. I could call Maurice and get a layout design. So it's like just positioning yourself to have people in your corner that y'all all not just take, but we can give to each other.
Right. And then we reach down, and then we're also trying to bring everybody else up too, who's willing to take the advice. But some people are scared, But those ones that's willing to take action, it's scary. We could be a powerful force out here.
Definitely. So just last couple questions. So just for the people who are scared, or the people that are struggling just to do that first deal, like I've been, like I tell people, I help new investors. So I do help new investors, but I honestly don't feel like I'm doing anything crazy to help them, but giving them the information, and some of them are just ready to jump. But what about those people that just they want to know interest rates, they want to know points, they want to know, all 12 steps, all 17 steps, but they won't get started?
Okay. My suggestion would be, and I'm gonna shout out a Central alum. I don't think she's on this call because we got a call right now, but I would say join Better Than Success Real Estate League.
Okay.
That is the perfect place for beginners right now, because they'll give you different programs. They have all the different speakers to give you more so confidence or join the community. Because if you're new, you're not gonna call me or you 10 times a day. But in that group, you can actually reach out to different people and get your feedback and be a part of a community so you can see what's going on. So and I always suggest that to anybody that's new. Like, no, join Better Than Success, and then actually
Shout out to Nicole Purvey.
Shout out to Nicole. I think Wayne White just spoke yesterday. She not speak today, but yeah. So just put that out there. Join the community and just learn, and then you'll be around like-minded individuals. So that's where I would say start.
Okay. And then, but even what about, so if I join that community and now that I'm in there, but I'm still reading everything. I just can't put my foot on the pedal. Like, what do I got to do to unlock that part to put my foot on the pedal? Look, so your alum, she says she in here.
No, she not.
Yeah, she is. She just came in.
I can't see. But all right. I still got it. Oh yeah. I got some alumni in here. Okay. Oh, she is in there. Oh, all right. My bad.
She just spoke today or yesterday. Yesterday, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah. She did a good job.
Oh, okay. I always hear about her speaking, and her story is great. So, but what do you say about going ahead? Yes, Janelle. Yes, I was at the tip of my tongue. It was at the tip of my tongue.
But I would say just try. I always focus on what's the worst that could happen. We've lost. You'll lose money, but you can always get it back. And once you have the skills to be able to do it, you can do this for the rest of your life and pass it on to your kids. So that right there should be enough to want to get started. To me, that's what it is. That should be enough to get started. If y'all know I could be financially free one day, and all I have to do is try. All you gotta do is try. They're not asking for much. You just gotta try. Try one time, and then you'll get your bug. Then you'll get your real estate bug. And I think that's the biggest key right there. Just try.
Somebody said the hardest part is starting out and losing hard-earned money.
Yeah, you're right. Crying, and there's a lot going into that, but that's a part of the process.
Right. So I try to tell people, at least I psych myself out with it in regards to the standpoint of I'd rather take the risk with the potential to lose it, knowing that I got a potential to gain more, though.
Right.
Is if you don't take the risk, you don't never had no chance to gain anything.
Never. In this game, I don't say it's not rigged, but what else? This is the real estate is the easiest way for us to gain wealth. It's the easiest way.
So I was gonna say, can you touch on, even for some of the people, like, you might not be ready to rehab a house. What if I just I want a house hack, or I want to cheat my way and use the FHA and get something with minimum work, and I just want to rent it out?
Right. Then that's when I would suggest anybody that hasn't owned a home, I would use my FHA to buy multi-unit.
Say it again for the
When
people.
you got an FHA, I don't care if you're married or if you with kids, buy a multi-unit with your FHA, your first loan, and then that's probably another cheat code too, where you can just skyrocket from there. If you get a 4-unit, I mean, it might be you and your wife living there, but then you got 3 units, 3 incomes coming in. You'll only be there for 2 years, and then you'll probably move somewhere else.
Right.
And
So
you'll be a landlord.
Right, but the tough part is, I just said, you got to remember where you at. Every market is different. So right now, Philly, if you're looking for something turnkey, multifamily, you need at least 250, 300.
That's right.
So you got to be prepared for that. But you can still get a nice property and make it feel like something for 250, 300. Just get your foot in the door. Like, I hear people tell me all the time, from the realtor side, it's like, yo, I'm not living in that. Like, where you live now? Like, let's talk about that. Well, I'm buying it. I ain't renting it. I'm not gonna live there if I'm buying it.
Right.
Again, we got to get you in the door. The key is, this is temporary. What are you willing to sacrifice to get you to the next step?
Right. 2 years. Give yourself 2 years, and then promise your significant other will move into a better home after this.
Right. So our first property was a duplex in Delaware County. We had our first son, and then when he turned 3, we moved to our house.
Right. My wife over here laughing because I still owe her a big house, but give me 2 years, a year and a half.
Tell her, don't worry, but you see, you a dad that make dinner though. You cook?
Oh, I'm the best cook out here, man. But yes.
And so hopefully my wife's not listening. She might still be on here. I don't cook, but still, but I spoil her in other ways.
Hey,
I
man.
clean, I wash clothes. I'm just saying, I'm a dad that do other stuff.
Yeah, I don't be doing all that. But yes, you're right. We try. You know what I'm saying? That's why it also helps be around other married men. You're like, yo, look, how can we? Because sometimes it has its challenges. But when it's good, it's great. I ain't gonna lie, man. When it's good, it's great.
I hear that. Will said he tried that. His wife told him to kick her out. It's a process, Will. It's a process, But I don't know, people. Do y'all got any other questions? I guess so. You talked about books earlier. I need you. Can you give us some books that just helped impact you?
Starting off was The Richest Man in Babylon.
Okay.
That was my Bible for a long time. Where I wanted to implement with the East Jewel, saving 10% of everything you make, and I took that, and that was the biggest thing, and how money works. So you have to learn how money works, and actually put it into your life. So The Richest Man in Babylon. And if you run a business, Traction is really good. I don't know if you read Traction.
Traction? I haven't. Okay.
Traction is if you're going to run a business. And I do read a lot, though, too. So that's another thing. I pick up a lot of books. I'm quick to read. And other than that, I would say, I got those are my 2 go-to Bibles besides the autobiography of Malcolm X, but that has nothing to do with real estate.
Hey, I understand, but even though you're reading, all these books do something different for your mindset either way. So, and then don't forget, y'all, the Teen Millennial Investment Blueprint. The link is in my bio. And somebody asked your VAs, what kind of tax do you use for the VAs? Like, what can I be using the VAs for?
When I say everything, I mean it's a beautiful thing. So they run my social media page. So if they ever DM me, it's them replying. So they make my flyers, they set up my appointments, they make my leases, they take maintenance requests, they actually call the contractors and schedule the actual appointments. Then they send my monthly letters, weekly letters, delinquency, When I say they actually run the business, they do, but it took me about 4 months to train them
Okay.
and give them the system that they need. So as far as the letters, how to do a lease. So we're out. I'm like, hey, can you draw up a lease for this amount? And they're like, okay. So they handle everything besides, they don't touch any money, but I
I
handle
got you.
financials. But everything else, utilities, they do it all actually.
Yo, I think this your pop in here, Mr. Lorenzo Jackson.
Oh yeah, my pop. I got a shout out senior. I don't know if he was on earlier, but
No, he was on here. He was on. I just wasn't sure. I'm like, is this a coincidence or no? That's him. But definitely salute to Pops. We see you on here. Got your IG. You know,
yeah,
you did your thing, passing off the gems to Junior, and you know now look at it.
right. We got it right, and we wouldn't be here without my mom. That's definitely a strong backbone and foundation too. So we got a shout out to them, and it helps you be good parents too. You know what I mean? So
Right, but now that I'm a parent, like yo, that's what you out here really striving for, so your kids could be productive, and you know, because they're basically a product of they, you know, of the upbringing.
they are.
So
So
that's what's up. And then somebody else. What was the other question? Oh, so can we jump real quick? Business credit. So we talked about earlier how you got the 20K in cash, the 40K in
right.
business credit, but you said we needed roughly, ideally, a 720 credit score, 700 credit score to even apply for the business credit. So with the business credit, they rely on my personal credit, or is this something like once I set up an LLC, I just automatically got business credit?
This is not. I'm not an expert, so I wanted to be overqualified. So that's why I say 720, 740. I think you can do it with a 680,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the key was to not have a lot of debt. My debt to income was almost at zero. Um, and you want to, I think Marcus Knuckles is another one. So I don't know if
That's
you want
another.
to,
That's another goal. Yep.
yeah. So you go to Marcus Knuckles, you go to Herman. They have these programs that are actually they'll put you in, and if you have decent credit, um, and I'm sure you could teach the other players you spoke about it before, where you could use your business credit to buy the house. So if
Right.
you have good credit, you can go get your $50,000 that then you don't have that. Now you can buy your house with that and start. So that's enough. So if I was to really start out and I had good credit, that will probably be my phone call tomorrow morning at like 9 o'clock. I will call her
So
and say, hey, can I get into your program?
right, because Herman's got this program. Don't get me the line and tell you I know 100%, but it's like if you got X amount of credit score, he's guaranteeing to show you how to get 30 to 50 grand off the rip through his program.
Right.
And for those of you who just say you can't wait till tomorrow and you want to do this tonight, and you know your credit score is, you know, in good standing, there's 0% business credit cards that you can Google online. 0% interest. So some of them vary between 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. If you go and apply for those business credit cards, you will need your social security number and your EIN. They're going to ask you your personal income information and your business income. But you literally can do it online and apply and get approved instantly. So if one bank or one credit card company approves you instantly, you go to the second one, get approved. So you literally can sit here tonight and by tomorrow morning have 30K in business credit.
And then you can start. So I think that's cheap, but you gotta start to have a good credit.
As long as you got the good, but don't go doing it. You know, you got a 600 or a 580. Like you
Right.
definitely need to be in the upper sixes and preferably, like Lorenzo said, like, yo, they can't tell you no once you cross over that 700 mark. But that partner with the cash. But hey, if you at least got the credit now, you got to do is save up the cash. And then some banks I know that are easy to get money for those of you who have the opportunity to. Navy Federal Credit Union.
Navy Federal. Yeah, if I was in the 600, 620, I would go to Navy Federal, get your 510, and just sort of start.
Right, but they're going to give it to you on your personal.
They're going to, but it's better than not have. If you don't have any money, that's where I would start.
Right.
So let me say, so all you need is good personal credit. Yes, as a business, have to have this. My business, when I did mine, had 2 years. I don't think it does.
So it depends on what you're applying for. If you're trying to get lines of credits, the business does need to have history. But if you're just applying for unsecured credit cards, the business doesn't necessarily need to have history. But they're just online applications.
That is. That's a game changer. You're talking about 30, 40 from nothing.
Zoe, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Can you hear me?
You had shook up a little bit, but I hear you now. That's better. So, any other gems you just want to leave them with, and we could close this thing out, man? I know you got to get with the family, man. We look again. Appreciate you. Appreciate your wife. You know, definitely Jackson Rental Homes. You got any vacant properties right now?
We got 8 2-bedroom apartments coming up in about a week and a half, August 15th.
So are you gonna have your VAs make the list of the properties, and maybe we could get those things rented beforehand?
It's actually 2 triplexes and a duplex. So we're going to have a VA. We have a flyer. I got a nice video coming out. So I'm trying to get them all rented at the same time. So it's a big goal to get all 8 of them rented in a week. But that's going to be my August project from like the 15th to like the 22nd. Something like that.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. So I got a question for you, because it's like, yo, you're doing a lot, and I'm just trying to understand, how do you prioritize, like, yo, I got these rehabs, I got these rentals, I got to get these the documentation together, like trying to pay water bills. How do you keep all that stuff in order? That's on the VA, or like, how are you managing that?
Well, I work in blocks. So I don't know if you're familiar with like working in blocks. The beginning of my day at 8 o'clock, most of the time I'm at my projects. And since I'm in West Philly and Southwest, I start at one place and I go to all of them and see who's all working and different things. Always stop at my mom's house. That's my halfway point. And then I come home. And then after that, I'm doing my office work. And I don't really return phone calls until about 3 or 4 o'clock. And that frustrates people, because if you call me, it's not time for me to make calls. It's not time for me to text. But that time is from like 3 to about 5, 3 to 6. And then if I have enough time, then that's when I go to the gym from like 6:30 to 8. But I work in blocks, and I stick strictly to my block. So if I'm on the property, I work with guys that need you to be on the property in the morning. I cannot have you on the property at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I need you to be here by 9.
So we could walk through this and get it done.
Exactly. And that's how I do it. I work in blocks. And yes, I use my VA. He starts at 9, so you'll see me pulling over to the side from 9 to 9:15, giving him his playbook for the day. Or I take a break from whatever, wherever I'm at. And then we meet 9 to 9:15, 12 o'clock. We talk every about 3 hours to make sure everything's okay with him. And it's the same with the contractors too. So we start in the morning and breeze through.
All right. So just last 2 questions, and as if you want to share. People keep asking, how do you find VAs?
I found my VA in a Facebook group. So you can go on like Guru and Fiverr and some of these other websites, but I got them directly. So I went I don't want to say straight to the Philippines, but I found him directly. So his pay is a little bit more. He actually just increased me about $2 an hour. So with the let's say with the VA, I was paying him $4 an hour. So for 2 VAs, you're looking at $8 an hour, which is beautiful. They're going to pay for themselves with 1 or 2 rentals a month.
Okay.
That's not even counting the property management and everything else that they do. He did go up on me for a little bit more, but that's okay. Now, if you want them to make calls and speak really good English, sometimes you could pay upwards in the $6 and the $7 an hour range. But I always test my VAs out. Like, if you can do a flyer, send me one. You'll know if they can speak English or not real well by talking to them. I may have my wife or someone else calling from another number just to make sure that keep on their P's and Q's, make sure that they're working. Like, hey, my dad called you. You didn't call him back 2 hours ago. So what's going on? Are you asleep? You really stay on top of them and then also give them a break. But you can find your VAs. I've definitely on Facebook, because they're out there. They have American Facebook accounts, and they would rather deal with you than go through the company that they're probably working
Get the money direct source.
Right. And I think I even told you, I'm like, if you get a VA, get a VA to make contracts and do other things, it's just an extension of you. So now it's 3 of you instead of 1.
Imagine how much more we could do, let alone how much free time I could have.
And they're there taking all the calls, tenants complaints, dealing with all the rental stories, evictions, and things like that. They're dealing with all that, so you can still be straight to business. You don't have to worry about taking some of those calls that take a lot of your time.
Okay. All right. And then how are you hunting your deals? So like you kind of spoke on that earlier about how because you're in the neighborhood, you're from the community, you know the people. But just say if I'm a new guy starting out, like what's a good way for me to find some deals?
Now that's the key question right there, because you can have $60,000 with nothing to do with it. A lot of people have a hard time finding deals, and yet, every time I talk, we talk, I'm like, hey, I just bought something else. I not keep them in the pipeline. I'm aggressive when it comes to wholesalers.
Okay.
So I'm on their top. Like, hey, do you have anything? I'm on MLS every day. And me being at the first site at 8, sometimes that turns into me checking out
A new property.
Right. So I think I had a mentor. He called me at 1 o'clock one day. I'm like, dog, I had already seen the property and I got under contract. So you're going to have to be a whole lot hungrier than some of these other investors, especially when they come available. And I make my offers on the spot.
Okay.
Right there on the spot. And another level is I have a realtor who's in a different networking group. I can say, I don't know how many people, but he's a white, white realtor. And he's another face, another extension of me to people that I don't know. He's just as hungry as anybody I've ever met. Like, I mean, it was one deal where he called every even hour and I called every odd hour. So we're calling this wholesaler at 9 every hour on the hour until
Trying to get this deal.
Until we get it done. Some people think like, oh my God, you guys are annoying. Yeah, we are. And then if I gotta switch it up, my assistant is gonna call you too. We're calling you.
We want this deal.
We want it, and you can't give it to anybody. You can, but if we're willing to give it to you, wholesalers, a lot of networking, and you do a lot in the community. Block parties were there, and they see you. Talk to the neighbors. But a lot of times, if you stand by what you say, like when I buy your property, I'm like, you're gonna see some brothers in here. It's not gonna be like it's gonna be us. It's gonna look like Wakanda. So you're going to see a lot going on.
It's going to look like the yard at your university.
Right, exactly. And we're going to stick to that. So when they see that, a lot of times we have an advantage over some other wholesalers because they want to do business with us.
Right.
No,
that's what's up. I would say sometimes, man, the drawback be, man, you know how these neighbors be. Like, some of these neighbors, man, I just cursed the neighbor out the other day. I told him, like, yo, don't call my phone no more. Like, I be trying to be nice, give them my information, like, be respectable, but some of them just be out of pocket.
And that's where I tell you, my pop, I don't know if he's still on here. I ask my pop, like, hey, he got a different temperament, real nice guy. Can you please go talk to this old head and get them in line, And or if you show up with your kids, it's gonna be hard for them to say no. You got your kids in there working.
Right. Yeah, no, I did have one lady. She tried to blast me with my kids, and my man, like, he was with me. He's like, yo, just walk away. Like, I'm like, no, like, she not gonna be talking to me, like, and in front of my kids, like, like, no, like, my man was like, trust me, it's not even worth it. Just go ahead in the crib, man. Just go in the crib.
Yeah, real hard, man. You don't want to get
right, and I still had to finish rehabbing the house. Like, we just had started.
But it's gonna be a long run, man.
But nah, man, like I said, definitely appreciate you, man. Keep doing your thing. For people who don't know how to reach you, like, can they reach out to you through social media? I know the VAs is on your Instagram, but if the people want to just follow your journey and just see what you up to, where can they find you?
Well, this is my first time actually sharing my story, so I'm proud. But yeah, you can hit me up on Jackson Rental Homes, Facebook. I do reply. I do reply. You will get a response from us, whether it's me personally. But if it's personal, then I do get it, and I will reply as well. If it's in person, big basketball fan, you'll see me on the alumni league, sitting on the bench almost every Saturday, just down there, chilling.
But that's your quality time. You work hard, so that's your quality time.
My quality time. That's my getaway, kicking with the fellas, and wife know I'm not doing anything wrong. That's my getaway.
Right.
And hope y'all up, man. This Saturday too, man. Hope y'all get that W, man.
For sure, man. But definitely, like I said, definitely appreciate you, man. If you guys want to contact him, Jackson Rental Homes. He does have 8 2-bedrooms coming available in the
Hey,
next week or
August
two.
15th. August 15th.
Okay, so like I said, don't forget that flag. I got people asking me. I'm always sharing your information in regards to the rental. So definitely appreciate you, man. And we will be the first live was saved that cut short, people. So you'll be able to catch the second part. I'm gonna say that as well. And then don't forget, next Thursday we got the big homie Dan Harvey. He's gonna be. We got him back on, so it's always good to have Dan. He's gonna be talking about using other people's money. So Dan's an investor who is leveraging how we talked about, but he's using large
Woo!
sums.
What's up, Carl? Sorry.
You good. Other people's money next Thursday. So definitely next Thursday, tune in. And then I'm gonna just share with y'all, I got some heavy hitters coming in August. We got just know it's just the lineup is crazy for the next 4 to 5 weeks. Like we got Lorenzo on here, and it just keep getting better. Like especially you keep telling me to get these people, and now I just be hitting them up.
You
Like
got Mahari?
so I didn't get Mahari yet. I did. We working on Mahari. He be in and out. So we working on it. But just know I got some good people. We look. Bruce is on here. Bruce, we gonna work on Bruce. He keeps trying to be the quiet storm out here, so we working on him. But I got some good people coming through. So stay tuned and thank you again. Definitely appreciate you even taking this time. And looking forward to continue watching you grow and reach your success.
Good man. Let's do it, man. Thanks a lot, y'all.